why a man leaves his wife or files for divorce. Number one is another woman pushing him to do it, okay? Or number two is something real foul went down. You think that was in love, I feel so bad for her. Yeah. I do.
But I can tell you that this has not been a easy journey. Right. I can tell you that I'm saddened. I can tell you that I'm disappointed. I can tell you that I'm uneasy, right?
I lived in this house. I decorated this whole house. So yes, I absolutely want to make sure that my things are taken with me as
In addition to what's packed out.
I want to make sure. I can't say for addition. You might be right. He might have packed everything for me, but I deserve a walkthrough.
Jeezy just found out Jeannie Mai wasn't just coming for him, she was secretly going after his new girlfriend too. And when he realized the lengths she was willing to go, he snapped. First, she pulled up to his house pretending to grab her things, but instead, she had other motives. And before anyone knew it, Jeannie jumped Jeezy's new girl, forcing the cops to step in. Now Jeezy is done playing nice. He's taking her straight to court, exposing every lie and every manipulation. Some divorces end in peaceful co-parenting, but others turn into an all-out war. And let's just say, Jeezy and Jeannie Mai's split has been giving nothing but Battle of the Exes energy. Jeezy and Jeannie started off looking like a fairy tale couple. Met in 2018, went public in 2019, engaged in 2020, married in 2021, and had baby Monaco in 2022. Cute, right? But by 2023, it all went downhill fast. Jeezy filed for divorce in September, basically saying there was no hope of fixing things. And by June 2024, it was official. But instead of moving on, Jeannie seemed to get even more bitter.
I can never believe or take the side of a man that has created 4 broken homes. Anytime a non-black woman marries a wealthy black man and she goes through exactly what we expect her to go through, we want to shame her. We want to say, well, you thought you were the preference. No, she was a woman in love that was love bombed by a potentially narcissistic man.
Jeezy wasn't just trying to get a divorce. He wanted joint custody of Monaco. And the way he was moving, it felt like he didn't trust Jeannie's parenting at all. He accused her of blocking his access to their daughter, acting as a gatekeeper, and making visits stressful and confusing. But Jeannie flipped the script, saying she was just trying to keep Monaco safe, especially because Jeezy kept unsecured guns in his house. Yeah, it got messy real quick.
If I'm really honest, knowing what I know now about who I married, I wouldn't have married him. Oh, Jeannie. Yeah, no, I know. I don't mean to get that serious, but I'm just saying this out there because it's just crazy. You hear all the time that money can change people. Well, divorce can really change people.
Then, cheating accusations. Jeannie invoked a clause in their prenup that penalized infidelity, basically hinting Jeezy was creeping while he was married. Jeezy's team shut that down immediately, saying it was 100% false. In May 2024, Jeannie came out swinging, accusing Jeezy of domestic violence, drinking problems, and even mistreating his older son. She claimed he had held her against her will at one point. That's when Jeezy was done. He hit back, calling it all fabricated and staged to ruin his reputation. He was not about to let his name get dragged. And then the financial drama started. Jeannie filed legal docs in June 2024, saying Jeezy wasn't paying child support or daycare fees. But Jeezy clapped back, exposing what he called misleading claims about his financial obligations. It wasn't just about money. There was something way deeper fueling this mess. Because while all this legal chaos was happening, the streets started talking. Apparently, Jeezy had already moved on, and that sent Jeannie over the edge. The timing was way too convenient. Right when rumors of his new relationship started bubbling up, Jeannie's legal attacks got even more intense. And if you thought the twists were done, think again. Jeezy dropped a bomb. He claimed Jeannie was still trying to have a second baby with him right before he filed for divorce. Like, girl, be serious. He said they had been trying naturally, and she even consulted her fertility doctor about IVF right after he told her it was over. So now, even though the divorce is finalized, this battle is far from finished. But Jeannie can't just stay put, can she? So she decided to pull up to Jeezy's house in Atlanta, thinking she was about to collect the things she left behind. She's got a court order in hand, her assistant, and security in tow, ready to grab some personal belongings. But when she gets there, the house manager tells her she's not allowed inside. And Jeezy? Oh, he made sure to double down on that. When they called him up, he reportedly said, "Nah, don't let her in." Now Jeannie, being the dramatic queen that she is, takes the situation straight to 911. And let's not act brand new. This is exactly the kind of mess that gets the headlines buzzing. This is what the police call said.
Hi, my name is Jeannie Mai, and I'm calling because I have a court order to be able to enter my old home. I'm going through a divorce right now. My old home.
The Popspresso.
And I'm here now, and the owner isn't permitting me in. So I wanted to ask if there's an officer who can help me come out and make a report of the situation, or at least try once more to see if there's a way with the police here possibly allow me entry into the home.
Gotcha.
You just know dispatch was rolling their eyes like, ma'am, this is not an emergency, but still they sent a unit over.
Furniture that you came with. Is that correct?
I want to do my walkthrough. That's the court order. Let me do my walkthrough, and what I'm personally checking for is my belongings. I've moved my whole life from Los Angeles to here. I also had a baby here. I lived in this house. I decorated this whole house. So yes, I absolutely want to make sure that my things are taken with me as
In addition to what's packed up.
I want to make sure. I can't say for addition. You might be right. He might have packed everything for me, but I deserve a walkthrough because of court order. So that's what I'm here for. I'm not saying I'm going to, I might walk out empty handed. I just want to make sure that my house that I know is coming with me. And so it's leaving with just his house being his.
And then things got even weirder. Before they let her into the garage to collect her things, they made her sign an NDA. Now, when she finally gets into the garage, she's met with a nightmare. Soaking wet boxes, expensive designer bags covered in dust, and worst of all, mice. Literal rodents had chewed through her belongings, leaving bite marks all over her designer bags and shoes. Now listen, divorces get nasty, but a mice-infested breakup, that's another level. And to make things worse, her awards, including her Emmy, were broken. The same Emmy that Jeezy's lawyer had previously praised him for keeping in great condition. At this point, it was clear this wasn't just a case of miscommunication. Something else was going on. Team Jeannie is crying foul, saying Jeezy purposely left her stuff to rot in the garage out of spite. Her lawyer said the boxes were wet with water having soaked through the boxes, damaging personal items. There were mouse traps set in the garage, presumably set for mice, which had eaten through some of the boxes. Many of Jeannie's awards were broken and scratched. Meanwhile, Team Jeezy is standing firm, saying he had every right to keep her out of his home because he didn't trust her motives. And to be fair, he's reportedly been worried about Jeannie allegedly trying to bug his house with cameras and recording devices. His lawyer literally said, Jeezy does not feel safe having Jeannie in his home. Given Jeannie's history of attempting to destroy Jeezy's career with misleading information, Jeezy would have no way of knowing if Jeannie is planting listening devices or cameras in his home. He added, Jeannie is angry about the party's divorce, and she is revengeful. In addition, the mere presence of Jeannie inside Jeezy's home and personal space, after the highly contested nature of the divorce case, would absolutely destroy Jeezy's peace and tranquility, as well as invade his privacy. Given how this divorce is playing out, I wouldn't be shocked if they both got their own private investigators at this point. But look, let's not pretend Jeannie wasn't throwing major red flags before they even got married. Y'all remember when she openly admitted she only dated black men for fun, but would marry a white man for stability?
You know what that means.
Wait, what are you reading it as?
Ain't nobody, how did you say it?
I'm just saying, like, when I think about men, I like dark men. I do.
Right, you like your main man to be white and your side piece
Sis said that on national television. So the fact that Jeezy really thought she was going to be this traditional submissive wife, be for real. Jeezy thought he had locked down a ride or die. What he actually got? A Vietnamese queen from San Jose, raised with that Bay Area energy, who was not about to go quietly. Now let's keep it a buck. Jeannie has always had a dominant personality. She's admitted to having a temper, she's admitted to being controlling, and she's even said she had to check herself in this marriage because she wasn't used to a man telling her no, and that's exactly what this whole fiasco boils down to. Power. Jeezy doesn't want Jeannie in his house because he doesn't trust her. Jeannie doesn't want to be locked out because she feels entitled to the space they once shared. And instead of just handling it privately, they've both turned this breakup into a public circus. But let's get into why Jeezy didn't just throw her stuff inside the house instead of the garage. Because if he really left her things outside, knowing well he's got money for proper storage, that's shady. But let's not ignore the fact that Jeezy probably has an entire team handling his business and his house manager is just following orders. So, was this a calculated move on Jeezy's part to humble her? Maybe. Was Jeannie playing up the victim role for sympathy? Possibly. But the fact that police had to get involved over some designer bags and old photos, that's a level of petty that only Hollywood divorces can reach. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about Jeannie getting her stuff. The whispers started long before Jeannie ever showed up at Jeezy's house. Word on the street was that this wasn't just about collecting some dusty boxes. Jeannie was there for confirmation. She had her suspicions for weeks, and now she was about to find out if the rumors were true. Jeezy had moved on. And not with some random fling. His new relationship was serious, and Jeannie was the last to know. So when she arrived that night expecting a simple pickup, she got something else entirely. And let's just say, it did not go over well. Because in that moment, whatever hope she might have had of fixing things, whatever idea she had of at least coexisting post-divorce, it all came crashing down. Jeezy wasn't waiting around, wasn't pining for her, wasn't pressed about what happened between them. He had already moved forward. And to Jeannie, that wasn't just betrayal, it was public humiliation. Now, Jeezy had been keeping things low-key. He wasn't out here parading his new girlfriend around, at least not yet, but after After Jeannie pulled her little stunt, the gloves came off. He was done playing the quiet, respectful ex, and when he finally spoke up, he came with receipts. According to him, Jeannie's visit had nothing to do with retrieving her belongings. He said this wasn't about an Emmy or designer bags or old photos. This was about control. She was the one who wasn't ready to move on. She was the one who still wanted to be in his space. And when she realized that door was officially closed, that's when things got ugly. Jeezy had already told the court he wasn't comfortable with Jeannie just walking through his house. He didn't trust her point blank, period. And his reason? He believed she was out to get him, that she had already tried to damage his career once, and he wasn't about to let her have another chance. Whether it was planting something, recording something, or just making sure she still had access, he wasn't taking the risk. And here's where it gets really messy, because insiders claim that Jeannie didn't just pull up to yell and make a scene. She allegedly ran up on Jeezy's new girl. Security had to step in, and while no official charges were filed, sources say it was bad enough that Jeezy felt like he needed to protect his new relationship, which makes sense, because after months of keeping quiet, after months of letting Jeannie run the narrative, he suddenly came out swinging. This wasn't about boxes, this was about boundaries. And Jeezy was making one thing crystal clear: Jeannie was no longer part of his world. Maybe Jeannie is big mad that Jeezy has already moved on, because suddenly she's all about stepping into 2025 with a whole new mindset, one that screams, I don't need a man.
I think I'm doing better now, you know? I think at the time when I found out, you know, at the same time as the rest of the world, that my marriage was ending in divorce, I was gutted.
Now she's dating herself. And no, not in the lonely girl watching rom-coms with a glass of wine way, but in the luxury soft life, spoil yourself rotten way. And sis is going all out. She kicked off Capricorn season by jetting off to Hawaii, flying out her girls for the ultimate rich auntie getaway, because why not? And that was after taking 16 of her family members to Disney World for Christmas.
Today it's about picking up the pieces. It's about discovering me and being a mom to the best blessing in my life, my little girl.
If nothing else, Jeannie's proving she knows how to keep herself booked and busy, even if that just means spending time and a lot of money on things that bring her joy. And honestly, if this is her revenge era, she's doing it right. But Jeannie is making it clear that she isn't the villain here. At least she's trying to. In fact, her legal team is doubling down on the fact that she had zero intention of invading his privacy or setting him up. And honestly, that one line alone is kinda suspicious. Like, if you weren't planning on planting recording devices, why is your legal team explicitly saying you weren't? And then there's the money battle, because this isn't just about furniture and old boxes. Jeezy hit Jeannie with a subpoena request. He wants the receipts on her finances, including business accounts, deposits, and withdrawals. And Jeannie, she was not having it. She called it a secret subpoena and accused Jeezy of trying to harass her behind the scenes. So what we really have here is a divorce that is far from over, even though it's been legally settled. Jeezy doesn't trust Jeannie at all, and Jeannie is furious that he's playing hardball with her belongings. Jeannie did everything she could to flip the script, painting Jeezy as the villain, the deadbeat dad who wasn't following court orders, the ex trying to make her life miserable. But when it came time to face the facts in court, Jeezy had receipts. He wasn't the one ignoring legal agreements. She was. And once the truth started coming out, public perception did a full 180. People who had been riding for Jeannie started side-eyeing her moves, because what started as poor Jeannie just trying to get her things was now looking a lot more like Jeannie's out for blood. And the more Jeezy stood his ground, the more it became clear this wasn't just about belongings. So, what now? Jeezy's got a new girl, Jeannie's got a new fight, and their daughter Monaco? She's stuck in the middle of it all. So will Jeannie double down and try to flip the narrative again? And will Jeezy's reported new girl finally break her silence? At this point, this isn't just a messy divorce, it's a war. And Jeannie, she might be losing this round. What do y'all think? Is Jeezy justified in shutting Jeannie out, or is she really just trying to get what's hers? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to check out our next video for more tea.